I always spend time with the buildings before I start. Walk around the outside, see some of the wear patterns on the wood. I walk inside the barn and try to imagine what might have happened there. So much is lost to history. I was a land surveyor in North Carolina. Oftentimes, a developer would purchase an old farm. Very often, there would be old farm buildings that would be in the way. I couldn't stand the thought of them being bulldozed and just hauled away, and I asked permission to take the wood, and they agreed readily because it meant less for them to haul off. I fell in love with the appearance of the wood, and I knew that I could do something with it. Filled up a pickup truck with the wood, took it home, started building things with it. That's how I got started in it, as a hobby or avocation. I get calls from people all over the state, offer me their barns if I'll just reuse them. That's why I call myself reinbarnation. You let the wood live, so to speak, really in a new life. There are a lot of small family farms, especially, that are just going by the wayside. These barns that were so important to the family farm. Each one has its own character. Personal memories, a lot of importance with these buildings, especially if it's still in the same family as when it was built.
It's been in the family for many generations, and I think it was built somewhere in the mid-1800s. Of course, the old hewed logs over there, they were chopped out with an axe. And it was my great-grandfather that put it up, and of course there was mules and cows. This was a thriving farm back then. The snow that we had a couple of years ago took it down. It just continues to go now.
Everything that I'll make out of this wood, I'll give credit to your barn so people will know where it came from and know a little bit about the history of it.
That's encouraging.
If you look in here, you can see the axe marks. It's where, you know, they cut these trees down and just did it on site.
Yeah, that's a lost art. How these are notched so tight. I don't even think there's a nail in there.
No nails, classic timber joinery.
Cedar rafters. These oak flat boards are nice. That's what I use mainly. Sometimes I'm allowed to just cherry pick, take off what I can and leave the rest. It's normally the case the owner would like to have the building completely taken down. I've had to turn down some barns that were just too enormous for me to handle. Part of the archaeology, if you will, of what I do, I always save a lot of the old hardware. These are some of the nails that I've saved over the years. So I will straighten them and then cut them to create a nail to my specifications. I find all kinds of things, rusty chains, buckles from old horse harnesses. And when I'm working on a piece, sometimes I'll just dump out boxes of this stuff and search through something that will work with the theme, design of what I'm making. John Cecil's barn has quite a bit of wood I can use. It's fairly straight, it's got good weathering on it. Doesn't look like termites have gotten into all of it, so there's still some wood that'll have some good integrity. As ideas come into my head, I'll go to the stack and try to pick the wood that will work with my idea. Often it works in reverse order, where I'll spot a really unique piece of wood, and I'll imagine how it could be turned into something and let the wood sort of lead the way. Well, this is a piece of pine from the exterior of a barn in southern Orange County, and it's very wide. And this is an indication that it was cut from probably a local old tree. Just gorgeous wood, pretty knothole there too. Here is a very interesting board that probably a lot of people that reclaim wood would throw in stacked, but I see a lot of potential in this board. Just the shape that has resulted from the wearing away of the wood is just very interesting. This wood is going to have to talk to me a little bit more until I decide what to do with it. I have to visualize and see beyond what's on the surface. If you get down below the surface layer a little bit with some planing, sort of mine into the wood to find what's underneath, you can find color and texture that is just really remarkable. Let that history and exposure to the elements speak. Think of the wood as being the main focal point of my pieces. It's the star of the show. It's an art form that can really be a conversation starter, as well as a philosophical statement of sustainability and reuse, things that have been thrown away. What I like to do so they have something to remember the barn with, I'll make a frame out of some of the wood. That seems to be a nice memento for them. So this is the spot.
This is where it was at. Every time I look this way, I think about the old barn, how we used it, and my great-grandfather used it. It was such a sentimental piece to us.
Got this little remembrance for you allowing me to recycle the wood, let it live on in another form.
That's beautiful. I do appreciate it, Roger. We're gonna hang it in the family room.
This is a way to not only reuse those materials and to stay connected to our ancestors who lived on this land and to part of the past that is rapidly going away.